Hello and welcome back. This is video number 2 of setting up your bow, starting off from the beginning. So you can see I have my bow in this table vise, and I have padded leather on the inside of the jaws so it doesn't mess up the body of the bow, put imprints on it or anything like that. So yesterday I went over, or the last video, I went over your draw length. I went over your draw weight, how to find those and get those right. So now, since you have those, you should have your correct arrows that you're starting off with, the correct spine and correct length cut arrows. What I'm going with today is going to be how you tie in your peep sight, how to level your bow and put in your tie on your dloop and nocking points. So we're going to start off with the rest. So you put on your rest and your sight. It's simple. It's just the bolt that goes through the body here, and normal bows have 2 of them. This one does not. It only has a single. And then your sight mounts. This is the quiver mount here on the outside of the sight. Most sights that mount on the outside of the bow have 2 extra holes for your quiver mount. Now, when you put your sight on, if you're just doing normal shooting, then getting that sight as close as you can to your bow is the best option for you. And when you put your sight on, you're going to want it as low as you can to the bottom of your shelf, closest to the top of your hand when you're holding it. That keeps everything, aligned, and you can eyeball at first and try to get that as center as you can on your shelf. This one's already set up, it's centered and everything, and I have it just a little bit higher than the bottom of the shelf there, so my drop away does not come in contact with the body of the bow. So let's start this off with how you tie in your peep sight and how to install the peep sight. This one obviously already has the peep sight installed, so I'm just going to show you around it and explain to you how you're going to get that on there correctly. So when you buy your new bow, it's going to have a little piece of string, in the tied, and that's showing the bowstring maker puts that in to show the center of the string, so you're not guessing on how many strands of string are on each side of your peep sight. So don't remove that, you little feathery piece of serving. So they also make an easy peep tool that you can look them up. I don't have one. I've never used one, but I do know that they exist. You can it's shaped. It's got like a point on one side with 2 grooves, and you can push it through the string without compressing the bow or anything like that. You can push it through, and it turns and it opens this up so you can put your peep sight in above it. You can also back your limb bolts down, but remember, you're going to have to keep in mind on how many turns you do on those limb bolts so you can put them back all the way. Don't turn it too far or your limbs will fall off. But you can back them down until this is slack enough that you can grab a hold of it and separate them. That's also another way you can do it. It's not really the recommended or the best way to do it, but you can do it that way if you have no other option. If you do it with that method of backing your bow limbs out, your limb bolts out, I suggest taking a dull flathead screwdriver and just kind of working it in between and then spinning that screwdriver head. You know, if you get it in there and then you spin this screw, see how it opens that string up? Just enough to get your, I guess you didn't see that, but you can get it in there, twist it, and it'll widen that string out. And you can slide your peep sight in. Like I said, that possibly can damage your string, so beware doing that. You don't want to accidentally cut strands in your string. You're going to have featheriness, you know, and possibly it break in the future because of that. So after you get your peep sight in, you're going to first set where your peep sight needs to be, and you are going to do that by drawing the bow back to anchor point, looking, you know, directly at the string, which when you are at full draw, let me demonstrate that for you. When you are at full draw, let's see here. Remember, always nock an arrow, even though I'm just showing y'all something real quick. Always nock an arrow. Now, when you're at full draw and your nose is on the string, you touch the tip of your nose to the string. Okay? And then when you're looking forward, get somebody to mark or to slide your peep sight to where you're looking through the peep sight just like this. You know, you're looking directly down it when you're at draw. Let this beast down. There we go. The thing is jumpy. But that's where you're going to want it, is directly in front of your eye when the tip of your nose is at the string. I'm going to put this back in. Okay. Get that back over there. Moving back in. Alrighty. Got to steady this thing up a little bit. Alright. So, you're going to get yourself a generous amount of serving. You can buy whole rolls, you know, whole rolls of serving offline. You can probably go to a pro shop near you and buy a thing of serving. You know, if you're wanting to do this stuff by yourself. So since it's already tied in, I'm just going to tie underneath of it to show you. But I personally like to go in the string here, and I slide it up, you know, up to where the top of this one is. I slide it up a little further. I'll do it at the bottom so I can slide it into the string. Say it slid into the string there. And so what you're going to do is get it even, and you're going to cross it once. So it's just like that. You're going to go on the back side. You're going to cross it. And then you're going to cross in the front. And again, you continue stacking them until, you know, I usually do about 7 or 8, you know, back and forth, 7 or 8 stacks. And it gives it an actual really nice looking stack, you know, woven looking, because it's back and forth past each other. And then at the end, you just tie a simple overhand knot, snip them off short, right above the overhand knot. Take a lighter and be very careful. You know, if you do it on the front side, you know, you can stand the bow up, or you can hold it here like this, and then you're going to just burn the tip of it, and you can take your lighter and push it down, or you can stick it down to your thumb. It's really not that hot, but I don't suggest possibly burning yourself. I do it with my fingers, but I've done it for so long it doesn't bother me. Now that you have your tops and bottoms tied in, redraw the bow. Make sure that your peep did not move, you know, any back and forth. Give it back to me. Goodness. It must still be crossed or something. But anyway, well, oh goodness. I don't ever take them back off after I tie them on. Not generally, unless I need to move something or another, or change strings. So with your peep, when you get it in the desired area, you're going to take and just wrap it around it, and the same thing. You wrap it one side, and then you go on the back side and you wrap it. And then I do that 3 times. And it also gives you, a woven kind of stacked look to it too. You can see it's cut, burned right there at the top. Now if you don't have a bow press to fix peep turn, because peep twist is a real thing. It happens after you start shooting your new bow. Your string starts to stretch a little bit, and then where strings are twisted, your peep sight might start turning off one way or turning off the other way. An easy way to fix that is take a piece of dloop material and cut it just as wide, a little bit wider than your string. Burn both ends and mushroom those out, and then you can watch the peep. See how it kind of starts turning. See, and you can adjust your peep sight with that to keep it straight. Because when you start, you'll see it after you shoot a few times. Your peep will probably turn in or it'll turn out, and that's a quick, easy way to tune your peep. They sell a peep tuner. I'm pretty sure it's the Bomars that sell a peep tuner, and it's basically the same thing, besides it's a little piece of plastic that goes in your string. Now that you have your peep sight tied in and ready to go, you're going to want to work on getting your nocking points. Now, you can do this a couple different ways, and I will show you different ways here. So they have this tool that is a nock point finder. It's a nocking squares, I'm pretty sure is the actual name for it. Looks like this. So you're going to take this, run it in your arrow rest. You're going to lift, if you're using a drop away, you're going to lift that up, and you're going to clip this on here. You can see where my nocking points are, or where these 2 lines are. You can do it that way, tying your nocking points, tying your dloop above and under your nocking points. Another way you can do it is get yourself a small level, lay it on your shelf, level your bow, get an arrow. So my bow is level now. You can get an arrow, and imagine that this isn't here yet. You're gonna, keep your rest up, make sure that your shelf stays level, and then put it on your arrow. And if it's too low, the arrow won't be level. If it's too high, the arrow won't be level with the bow. So when you get your arrow leveled on here, you can take a silver Sharpie and mark above and below, and then tie in your nocking points. Now your nocking points are tied on the same way that I showed, or mine, how I tie them on, is the same way as the peep sight. So it's just wrapped around once, around the back, around the front, around the back, around the front, and I do that 3 or 4 times. Cut it, or tie it off of the overhand knot, cut it, burn it, and then do that up above and below. Now you can do it with leaving the arrow on there too, above and below, and you want to leave just a little wiggle room. These are not the arrows that I shoot off of this bow, and the nocks are fatter. See how there's no wiggle room at all? You don't want that. These nocks are thicker than the ones because this one was done with a gold tip, which have itty bitty tiny little nocks. I don't have any in here, actually. But gold points have tiny, tiny little nocks on them. But when you get it on, you want there to be wiggle room in between the two, just a little bit. You just want it to be able to move just a little bit up and down. Actually, this serving is a little bit too thick for these nocks also. You don't want them too tight. You want it to be able to clip on, stay on, but you don't want it to not be able to move at all. You want it to be able to have a little wiggle room in between your nocking points, because when this comes back at an angle, it'll pinch and lift your arrow. And a good way to make sure that that's not happening is you can take just a nock and put it on, draw the bow back, and watch this, and this will either lift up like that, or it'll push it down like that, or it'll turn off. And that means that this is pinching that nock. So you can see how this nock is a lot more free moving. It's a little bit, it's still a little bit too tight for this, but like I said, this was tied on for gold tip arrows. So after that, after you get your nocking point, you can turn your bow back. Now you're working above your bow again. After you have turned your bow back down, I'm going to show the dloop process. Now this is more of, usually comes off more intimidating. So, yeah, actually you can see better here where the nocking points are tied in. That one's kind of pushed up under that, where I just shoved that thicker nock in there and kind of pushed that down. So, let's see here. The best way to start. So you can see how this actually has a naturally, bent dloop in it. That's because I shoot the thumb release. So if you think when I turn my hand, it's moving this already instead of putting torque on my string. So it's just moving this. Now, if you had just a straight tied one and you started to do this, it would put torque on your string. So the way that you get that is when you tie in, you're going to be above your bottom, through, and then when you come back around, it's tied in above, or below, the main part of the cord. And when you're tying these, you definitely, let's see here. So generally, let's see, you're going to take your dloop material and fluff this. You're going to get that hot. I'm doing this through my screen. See, and now you have a mushroom to end. So you're going to start here. You're going to come around like that. And then back through itself here. Now, the normal length, I'm not going to cut this because I done messed that up. Hold on. I'm trying to do it through my screen. It's not simple to do. Okay. Okay. So, when you're through, it's going to look like that right there. Okay. You're going to want to make sure that these stay together as tight as you can there. And you're going to pull on this piece. And you're just going to keep working it until you don't want it too tight, because you can still move it a little bit. And then the normal size for D-loops is actually 5 inches. So you can cut a 5-inch piece of this cord, you know, just cut it 5 inches and it should come out to be about perfect. But after you're there, then you're going to come in and around. It is around that way, right? I'm still trying to do it through my phone, so it's kind of throwing me off here. Yeah. So you're going to come in and around through itself. So you're around it here. Then all right, I'm not trying to lose you here. So now you're here. Okay, around. And you're going to go all the way around the string and then back through here like this. Then it's going to give you what you want here. Okay. And then you'll cut this off. I made it exaggerated for you so you can kind of see better. You can, if you have the 5 inches cut already, then the end of your string, you know, you'll cut and burn each end of the string like that. So then you can get it there like that. Get it tight. And you can take you can see how it's naturally curved, just the same as that one. And this is the technical proper D-loop. That is how, you know, they say it's supposed to be done. There are other ways that you can tie them in, you know, things like that. But that is technically the proper way. You can take, if you don't have a pair of D-loop pliers, sorry if this is noisy. I'm looking for my needle nose here. Now, after you get this around on your tying points, you can take and you can press these in, you know, to make sure that those stay tight, because you don't want this slipping through. You can put your pliers in there and work it and work it. Usually it'll only come up just a little bit. You know what I mean? But after you get it in, you can take it and you're going to just separate it as hard as you can until this is tight and not moving anymore when you've got it in place to where you want it. So that's your D-loop. So this is the side that my side is on, closest to us. So I go over and under like that right there, around itself. And then back through. So then you're looking like that. You back this up. Maybe it'll get out of the way. My heater is annoying. There we go. So it's back through and around like that. You're going to come here through itself. After you do it a few times, it becomes real easy. Like, just like that right there. And like I said, this will be cut and burned into a mushroom. So there's your D-loop. Okay. Now we have everything tied in. Rest mounted. Okay. You're going to take your arrow. This is the easiest way that I can explain how to do this to you. is you're going to take your arrow, put it on your string, make sure there's nothing obstructing your arrow. You're going to take your level, find the flat spot of your bow, level your bow, get out of the way. See that? I don't know if it's going to work or not with that arrow. Okay, there it goes. See, now my arrow is hanging straight. And, okay, arrow's hanging straight off the D-loop. You can take it this way too. Okay, it's leveled that way. So you can look down your arrow, put your rest up like this, and you can center your rest onto your arrow like that. So now my arrow is dangling center shot. Okay, if you've got your bow level side to side, back and forth, you can see how my rest will come up and the arrow will sit right in the valley, just like that right there. If you get it sitting in the valley, you're good to go. You can just adjust your rest back and forth, because the up and down should be fine, because you already have your D-loop on there. This already needs to be where it's going to be, because if you move this up and down right now, then you have the possibility of unleveling your arrow and having a problem there with your arrow shooting up or shooting down. So if you already have it leveled straight across, you don't need to move this up and down until we get into paper tuning. When we get into paper tuning, then you might have to make small adjustments up and down just to get your arrow flying correctly, just in case it's a little tail high or a little tail low. So, one more thing, two more things actually. So, we have our bow up like this. Get this tight. You want to get your bow level again. Not on the table. Quit falling. Damn, buddy, quit falling. I need to do something with this level. Okay, bow's level. Okay, that's what it was reading before. So it is just, no, hold on. That's level. That's just a little unlevel. So it's just a little bit, like it was before. That's fine. The bow is slowly moving because of that, because of the padded leather. It's kind of slowly moving there. Which, I mean, if you don't actually have a bow vise, I mean, you are going to, run into little problems like that, because it's not technically the correct thing to have. But I'm showing you that you can get it done without having $200 bow press or bow vise. I mean, I mean, if you come up with your own thing, awesome. Cool, do it. If it works good, whatever. So after you level your sight, you're going to look down your, down through and try to level, move your sight over to where everything is in line. You can see the center of the string to the rest, and goodness, if I could quit moving, and the sight is also right behind the strings. So that'll get you as close as you can, just by eyeballing it. You're not going to get that truly perfect until you start shooting it. And I believe for today, boys and girls, that is going to be everything I'm covering today. You have your sight on now. You have it close as you can centered. You have your rest on now. You have it as close as you can without actually paper tuning the bow. We're just getting it set up for right now. We will start shooting in the next video, and I will show you your own way that you can paper tune. You have your peep sight tied in, you have your D-loop and your knocking points tied in. So right now your bow should be looking like a bow. We have your draw weight, your draw length. Hopefully the correct arrows cut to your length and the correct spine. Everything else after that, all I can really do is just tell you. And these are the beginning ways to set up the bow. So if you're enjoying this series of learning how to set up your bow, hit the like, subscribe button, ding the bell. In the next video, we're going to get a little bit more advanced. We're going to get to shooting. We're going to get to shooting, and I'm going to show you how to paper tune your bow. It's a simple thing you can do at home. It's just a little bit of tweaking, on your rest, sighting in the bow, all that good stuff. That'll be in the next video. So thank you for watching. Sorry that I was a little long-winded today. This stuff takes a little bit of time to explain for it to be explained properly. So if you could, please hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.